What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Don't leave me hanging. Okay. So, I did my presentation a little different. And I say a little different because I actually wrote mine out. Brad, shout out to Brad, thank you. Because I wanted to make sure I brought you everything that I had in me. I didn't want to miss a beat, a thought, a note, nothing. So with that said, here is my presentation. Oops, let me move myself over a little bit. Stop dropping stuff. Forged in fire, refined in purpose. So this is not a push toward faith by any means. Good Lord. I'm going to just hold it in my hand. This is not a push toward faith by any means. I'm just not ashamed of mine. Certain words and stories have brought me inspiration, and I want to share it with you all today. Okay? So first off, forged in fire, refined in purpose. So let me ask you, Enrique, why are you here? To be a better version of yourself. What about you, Nathan? Why are you here?
Same thing.
Same thing. I love asking that question, why? It's such an essential question. I love the high five on that too. So let me get started. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be forged? Well, forged means to be shaped and molded. Fire is revealing and it's purifying. To be forged in fire is the enduring of that purification and the revealing of yourself. Refine means to be stripped away, to remove excess. Purpose is the reason, the season, and the mission.
Okay.
You heard me, Hugh. Again, my name is Nadia Clark, and I am here to serve you today. How am I to do this? By bearing my real life lived experience, because I am proof you can be renewed. What am I bringing you today? First things first, we're going to talk about identifying and awareness, breaking out of your box, because there are limits you don't even realize that are there that block you mentally and emotionally. Number two, shifting from survival mode, because you were not just made to get by. You were made to lead, because if not, you would not be sitting here right now. You're made to build and impact. And number three, transforming your worst season into your greatest comeback. Because we don't run from pain here, okay? We don't run from fear. We refine it into purpose. I did not read this in any book or learn this from anyone. This was built through seasons of silence, surrender, and isolation, losing everything, walking away from 3 homes, multiple six figures, multiple relationships, and even my will to live. So much so, I remember to this day what the taste of my 40 cal on the tip of my tongue tastes like. I scraped and fought for every inch of my life that I could stomach. I studied everything from entrepreneurship, leadership, the human body, PTSD, the human condition, and finally, myself. I needed to understand my why. Why was I doing the things I was doing? How did I go from being a servant of this country to one of the most violent cities in America to a toxic degenerate, wondering if I should even continue my existence or not? This woman in front of you today was forged through a very painful fire, the ashes of which were refined in purpose. What I bring you today is a life lived. My strategies are tried, difficult, meaningful, but they work. So who even is this woman standing in front of you? Why should you listen to me? I know you're probably asking yourself that. I've only been an entrepreneur for less than a year. Well, again, my name is Nadia Clark, and I'm a black woman, in case you didn't notice. I have stood and continue to stand in rooms that aren't always built for me, and I understand that. I own it and often give it the middle finger because I don't give a shit. I'm a former collegiate athlete, former collegiate hooper, and if my knees could hold up, I would cross you up and down this damn penthouse today. I'm a former Army captain of the Army Reserves, a former senior security manager at Tesla, and a former police sergeant in the city of Oakland. Yes, Paul and I worked the same streets, and I am a bit older. Do not ask me my age because I'm not going to tell you. I worked the hell out of them streets, undercover assignments. I taught others other officers how to be officers. I worked patrol, all while stepping over dead bodies, witnessing child trafficking, and watching my friends be buried. I've seen the best of what humanity has to offer through the smiles of a young child, and the worst, the unspeakable. July 23rd, 2016 was no different. I just got back from a nearly 2-week vacation. I was in my office when I left to respond to assist another sergeant with another violent encounter in East Oakland. I was traveling down to the call, and I was struck in the middle of the intersection by a drunk driver on my driver's side. I was pinned. The driver's side door would not open. There was a cage in the back, and as I was coming to my present moment, because I just got creamed, I let dispatch know on my car radio what had just happened, and I look up to see a man that could have been my brother, dressed in all white, pointing his gun with a magazine as long as my forearm, extending from the grip. I was stuck. He got me. I'm dead. Ambushed, he began firing rounds into my vehicle. I had nowhere to go. Then I saw it, his firearm jammed, because Lord knows, if you don't know how to clear it, you ain't gonna clear it. Before I could even fully process what would happen, my body still reacted because I had practiced this scenario over and over and over again in my head. I hollered on the radio like no one ever heard me before, while staring down the barrel of this firearm into the eyes of the soulless. Why do I have to die in this police car? Why do I have to end up on that wall? Why do I have to be remembered like this? As written, there is no greater love one has than to lay down his life for one's friends, and I believed that. I was sold that. And I thought that was my moment. But at that moment, I was like, the hell with that. Not today, okay? And by the grace of God, I'm standing before you today, breathing, having this discussion. Not without scars, not without heartbreak, and not without failure. I had the belief that I'd done everything right. I mean, I went to college. I wasn't very good at it. I played hoop. I served in the military. I bought homes. I stacked racks on racks on racks, became a servant in one of the most violent cities in America, all for it seemingly to come to an end in less than 2 minutes. I say end because there are worse things than a physical death. Have you ever drowned yourself in a 300 bottle of tequila? Praying for the demons to go to sleep just so you can? Yes, I'm a bad and bougie. I'm here to teach you, though. I'm here to imprint on your soul and make you ask why. Not just to tell you a story of my woes, but to show you I've been through the fire and now I'm being refined. Because why is not just a question, but it's an exclamation. The question of why is why you exist. Again, what are we here to learn today? Identifying and becoming aware so you can break out of your box. Stop letting those limits limit you mentally and emotionally. Shift out of survival mode because, again, you were made to lead and build and impact. Again, you wouldn't be in this room. And transforming your worst season into your greatest comeback because, again, we don't run from fear here. Being refined requires a radical transformation of the mind, the body, and the soul. The removal of external stimulus, of outside beliefs, what everyone else is doing, and what you believe you should be doing. The work starts in understanding there are levels to this. The financial peace you want, well, it's tied to your spiritual, physical, and emotional peace. Let me say that again. Your financial peace that you want is tied intimately to your spiritual, physical, and emotional peace. Generational curses are just that. Generationally deep, embedded in the spirit of your bloodline, and it takes a powerful, and I mean a powerful realignment to break that. I'd given all to my external environment, so much so that when I finally looked in the mirror, I was completely unrecognizable. I was dark. I created this box of uniforms, Sergeant Clark, Captain Clark, and then one of a victim suffering from intense, and I mean intense, PTSD. Within my box, I was in this loop where that July night kept playing and replaying, mixed in with all the other observed violent encounters that I had. Reliving every decision, every riot, every aggressive encounter that I created a shell of a woman. Lost in her past, lost in the liquor, lost in the weed, lost in all that the world had to offer. I developed a nasty stutter, a nastier startle reflex, so much so don't sneak up on me, okay? I might swing on you. I spent 2 years in cognitive therapy, relearning how to tell my left from my right, rebuilding my memory, even learning how to read out loud again. And to this day, I still have a little trouble in the dark. My nervous system is shot. Barely sleeping, I drank a lot, and I mean a lot of tequila. And I smoked a lot of blunts too. Let me just put that out there. Hey. Lucid nightmares filled my bedroom during the day and night. Images of death dancing around my consciousness, mostly of my own. I was pissed off at God. Why did you allow me to live? None of this makes sense. What do you want from me? I am no good. Why am I alive? Questioning my life had me questioning the life of the man who tried to take mine and his conditioning. I picked up the word one day and I read, "Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt you see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's." Now let me ask you, because I finally paused and said, who the hell am I really? And I'm going to go back to the question again. Let me ask you, when is the last time? How do you go back? I messed up the slide. It's back? Okay, I had it out of order. That's my bad. Who am I really? So when was the last time you asked yourself, who am I? No filters, no captions, no titles, just the mirror and your soul. And again, this is step one. Identifying your box, identifying your conditioning, identifying who the hell you really are, no punches pulled, all the good, all the bad, and absolute ugly in your life. An honest inventory of what you are offering to the world, your loved ones, and anyone else in your proximity. And most importantly, yourself. You must ask yourself the difficult questions and then examine those answers. Cast out all preconceived notions of what you tell yourself to feel better at night, because no one cares. And dig deep. Ask yourself the real questions, the what and the whys. What am I so angry about? Why am I so anxious? Why am I a victim? Why am I so damn toxic? Why am I hurting people? Why do I drink so much? What are my thoughts? What are my doubts? What are my fears? And then embrace this new awareness. Because awareness is required before you can even think about taking action. Because in order to take fruitful, and I mean fruitful action, you must be intentional, and I'll say this again, intentional with your awareness, because you need intentional and perfect action, and that only comes from first identifying and becoming aware of your identity. At this point, you maybe realize that you've dug yourself into something deep and it's dark. In that hole, you'll find terrible things you once said to yourself, your self-destructive ways, those terrible relationships you knew you should have left last week, those meals you know you shouldn't have eaten, that shot you know you shouldn't have taken at the bar, that slick talking gossip about your friend you knew was rooted in pain. It's all there. You look around and realize I'm boxed in by all the people and the things that do not serve me. And you've been serving all to your detriment. You realize this is an uphill battle and it's time to climb out of the deep, out of the dark. So you start to climb upwards, slipping back down, climb back up again, until you finally reach what you perceive to be the top. But at the top, there's no ray of light. It's still dark. The air is dry and thin. You can't breathe. You are choking on your surroundings because you are surrounded by the valley of your dry bones. What is this? The valley is a desolate desert wasteland. That life you once imagined died here. Those dreams you used to have are buried here. Have I really been living? You must ask yourself. Or just waiting to die, surviving the days as they come. Waltzing through this valley with blinders on because it felt safe to just ignore the reality that is your life. It's easier to accept convenience, comfortable, and contempt than live in all your anointed glory. And this is where you have to make a choice. This is number 2, to claim it. And what am I claiming? I want out and I want a new life. This is that shift from survival mode where you claim that you no longer want to live that life that doesn't serve you, because as written, the greatest commandment is to love God above all else, but the second just as equal is to love thy neighbor as thyself. But, and I say but emphatically, I'm here to tell you that loving yourself takes committing consistently to examining and re-examining who you are and how to show up. Your honesty and reflection matter if you want out of the valley of the dry bones, if you want to walk out of Egypt into the desert, into the promised land of milk and honey, and get what is promised to you. Now that thing right now that you feel in your pit of your stomach as I'm talking, that need, that drive toward, you're not quite sure what it is, but you know that's where success lives. You lived in survival mode. You know it's time to renew your mind. You know deep down you can't pour new wine into old wine skins. That comfort zone you lived in has kept you burdened because freedom exists in the other side of your comfort zone. Repeat after me. Freedom. Say it louder. Freedom exists on the other side of my comfort zone. You know this requires a walk. Why? Because you've already survived the fire and you've been shaped and molded into this new version of yourself. And now it's time to refine the blade and sharpen that iron. Your freedom depends on this step. That thought of you no longer want what serves me, you will walk through that fire and into freedom and forge a new life through that fire and come out on the other side in order to transform. I'm out of order again. To transform your worst season into your greatest comeback. This is where it's time to work. This is where it's time to work. No games will be played here. Because as Paul says, it's my favorite quote, it's going to work or it's going to... Oh, come on. It's going to work or it's going to... It's going to work or it's going to... All right, let's go with it. There is nothing nor no one that can stand in my way, not a failure, not a doubt, not a fear. And I'm going to transmute my life of pain into one of purpose. I'm going to wake this valley of the dry bones because as promised, the valley of dry bones will rise, put breath into you, and you will come to life. Remember, new wine cannot be poured into old wineskins. You must embody that mustard seed of faith in order to point to that mountain and order it to move. No self-help book, no guru can give you these steps to follow without you first identifying and becoming aware that you, and I say you, are the problem. A full transparency and inventory of your willfulness woes and taking steps into a new life, whether you're comfortable or not. None of that stuff will matter. You have to stand on business and say, what is for me is for me. Refinement is a choice, so choose accordingly or it will choose you. Hard work is required. A shift in thinking is required. A change in proximity required. Just like they say, your network is your net worth. So choose accordingly. Let no man, no woman separate what is for you. This is about freedom. This is about legacy. This is about impacting the world and choosing a life worth living, dreams worth pursuing, a new day, a new outlook, new light. The days that you want to quit won't go away, but they will become shorter and shorter. But you don't get there unless you take the first step and identify what's keeping you trapped. If you don't shift out of survival mode, if you don't commit to the service of transforming your worst season into your greatest comeback, not only will you stop your blessing, but you will stop those that are to be blessed because your movement, because their moment, again, I'm going to say it, their moment depends on your movement. Their moment depends on your movement. Forging fire and walking in purpose. So don't be one of the ones on your deathbed thinking about the shoulda, the coulda, the wouldas, and what if. A death of a life never lived. All while bringing others with you because you were too scared to act. Mind, body, and soul stuck in a box along with everybody else with you. To be forged in fire and refined in purpose means you've been tested by life's hardest moments, pain, loss, failure, and instead of breaking, you were shaped, strengthened, and transformed by them. Again, this has been Forged in Fire, Refined in Purpose. I'm Nadia Clark. This is not just a talk, this is a damn movement. So move!